yesterday. Heart guitarist Nancy Wilson says it's more embarrassing to be an American now than during the Vietnam War. Now, this was news to me that it was embarrassing to be an American during the Vietnam War. You could feel however you wanted to feel. Did even the hippies, maybe some did, say they were ashamed to be an American? They just said we shouldn't be over there, fighting and dying a half a world away. A point that seems to have some logic these days. So I don't know. And so my first thought was, okay, free speech, absolutely. And I will never be necessarily one of the shut up and sing people. Everybody can weigh in however they want. I did, however, suggest that maybe people might want to rethink their thoughts about the 14th of June at Texas Trust CU Theater in Grand Prairie, where maybe they will not see you in the form of Ann and Nancy Wilson. They might want to adjust their concert plans accordingly.
Well, I mean, I'm with you. I think all voices should have a seat at the table, and they do, but I don't want to pay for it. And that takes me to the wild testimony yesterday from the head of NPR and PBS. Wowza, 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 wowza. I mean, some of these folks, your guy there locally, the Brandon Gill.
Just heroic. And I'll play this in the next hour. It is 2.5 hours of takedown. And it's surgically precise. He doesn't bludgeon her. He's not mean to her. He asks her questions. Do you believe X, Y, Z? Oh, I don't really think so. Well, then why did you tweet this in 2020? Brings the receipts. It was awesome.
I mean, it was point by point where she refuted what he was saying, and he says, well, wait a minute, this is what you said when you tweeted this out. Well, I didn't say that. Well, this is what you said when you tweeted this out. It's unbelievable. And look, I know they do good work over there, but when you've got, I think they said 87 members of their newsroom and not a single registered Republican.
And not one show devoted to the conservative viewpoint. They got podcasts, they got documentaries, they're a huge empire. And, yeah.
Well, I mean, look, and Representative Fallon went through it all. I mean, they branded, NPR branded the Hunter Biden laptop story a waste of time. Listen, check this out. Fallon was asking the NPR CEO, how many times did you interview Adam Schiff about the Russia collusion hoax?
Excellent.
She said, I don't know. Fallon had the receipts 25 times. 25. Then he said, how many times did NPR interview Chairman Comer about the Biden impeachment inquiry and the Biden family's illegitimate business dealings? I don't know, she said. Zero times. 0 times. Yeah. Look, there's no question. We don't even have to play this game. We know NPR is a biased organization. We know PBS is a biased organizn. I'm not against biased organizations. Nope. Some would call you and me biased.
Just don't. They better.
Well,
we're proudly partisan.
We're not doing our job if we're not. However, we don't expect the taxpayers to fund us.
Correct.
We don't have our hand out, and we don't expect any portion of what we do funded by taxpayers. Nope. So that's the problem. And last night, President Trump, he went off on Truth Social, and he said, defund NPR and PBS 100%. Now. He clearly saw this testimony, and as I thought he would, I mean, I watched and I thought, oh my gosh, this isn't going to go over well with the boss. He saw it, and he said he went through the roof. And he's right. And I would love for you got a lot of, look, Dallas has a great local PBS station, right? Isn't it KERA?
And by the way, and here's the thing. They're still going to be there locally.
They're not going anywhere.
Let's talk shows. Chris Boyd doing Think in the middle of the day. She is awesome. And Terry Gross, Fresh Air, one of the best interview shows around. This American Life, one of the best podcasts and things that you can do. Before I found out Rick Steves was a communist. That's an incredible travel show. So, but here's the thing. People got money. Sheryl Crow's got garage full of Tesla, or she used to. They will absolutely be able to survive. I'll send them $30 a year to keep the shows that I like. The system will work.
Here's what makes me crazy about these guys. There's this, and I like I said, I would love to ask the pointy-headed intellectuals of Dallas-Fort Worth, why should taxpayers fund any portion at all of what they do? See, we're lifelong broadcasters, so we know how this works. I'm a little unique in terms of what I focus on. I'm big on the business side of what I do. I look every morning at a spreadsheet. I see, first thing I do when I walk out the door, how's my budget? What have I done in March? Am I hitting my numbers? Because I learned a long time ago from one of my earlier bosses and my mentors, Greg Anderson, frankly, who's my dear mentor and friend, who's retired and happy with his beautiful wife Linda. Greg taught me, look, Mike, as a host, you hit your budget, ratings will come and go, but you hit your budget, you'll be fine. And I learned that decades ago, and I'm almost obsessed about it. So I work hard. I started the Mike Gallagher Show nationally as an entrepreneur with my business partner, a great guy out of Pennsylvania, John Dame. We formed Dame Gallagher Networks, and we started this show before it got picked up by Salem. Anyway, I love the business side of things. I know how wrong it is for NPR or PBS to be funded by the taxpayers. That's all this is about, Mark. That's all this comes down to. And I don't think you could make a legitimate argument as to why taxpayers should fund one penny of NPR or PBS.
And it's funny, but here's a funny, as the artsy fartsy guy that you are, and that I often am, let me give you a little wrinkle. Because the reason, and it's very important that everybody knows that Mike and I would be saying the exact same thing. I hope we would. I trust we would. If NPR were cranking out conservative stuff, we'd
I'm saying that about us.
100%.
I'm saying that about you and me. Of course,
there's proof that you're absolutely consistent on this, and that NPR and PBS's liberalism is the second most egregious thing. And it's not even egregious at all. They got free speech, but it shouldn't be taxpayer funded. Now, is there a sliver of room for public funding of like all kind? A symphony in a town, an opera company in a town.
No,
I'm gonna say yes, and here's why. If there is an argument for a sliver of a penny to something that a community simply would not have, if there's a city where the marketplace just goes, we don't like opera, then they won't have an opera. And no 14-year-old girl or boy will see an opera in their town or a symphony in their symphony. We don't care.
Baloney.
It might then it's then help me that baloney. Okay with some degree of public funding of art that wouldn't exist otherwise. So
we've got too many problems in this country with crime, with infrastructure. Okay. We've got issues that are too pressing. Let me finish my point. Okay. We've got too many problems and too many people suffering where we're devoting taxpayer money to an opera in a community 100%. That might not normally have an opera, so a kid can go see an opera. Honestly, look, please let me finish my point. Please. Then get a group of philanthropists and arts-loving people like you and me and put together fundraising and put together efforts that will raise the funds necessary to deliver an opera to a community that might be underserved. The taxpayer funding part is gone. And I'm a guy that loves the arts. I don't want taxpayers. We've got too many pressing things we got to pay for, Mark.
I think
country's in bad shape.
Let's have 10 years of Doge, and get to where we're not wasting as much, and maybe a sliver of a penny can put a symphony in an inner city so a kid can learn how to play the oboe. And by the way, in the same subject, look at what's going on with this Snow White thing. My Lord, this thing is getting, to quote Senator John Kennedy, this is less popular than chlamydia. I mean, this movie is tanking. Well, one of the producers of the film is a guy named Mark Platt. Yep. Now, Mark Platt is a big time, and I know about him because he produced Wicked. Yep. Boy, wouldn't you like to have that investment? Mm-hmm. I mean, he produced the Broadway show. He produced the movies. He's a big-time Hollywood producer. He's got a couple of acting kids. Ben Platt, who I've seen in Dear Evan Hansen. He's a talented kid. His brother is a guy named Jonah Platt. I think that's another son. I think Jonah. It is. It's his brother. It's the son. It's one of the sons of Mark Platt. Right. Yeah. I'm sorry. I got kind of confusing, but he's one of the sons of this big-time producer. Mm-hmm. So it's been reported that the producer had to fly to L.A. to scold
Rachel Zegler, who's playing Snow White, and say, pipe down on all your Trump-hating politics. Knock it off. You're going to hurt the movie. So somebody heard about that and wrote directly to Jonah Platt, the producer's son, and said, your dad flew, it was from L.A. to New York. Your dad flew to New York City to reprimand a young actress? Any words on this, Jonah? Because that's creepy as hell and uncalled for. People have the right to free speech. No, shame on your father. Now, by the way, part of her free speech is, it's been revealed she's been posting F you Trump.
Great.
That she literally says F you Trump. She reposts something from Trump, says F you. Well, Jonah Platt responded. The son of the Snow White producer gave a response.
Everybody stop what you're doing right now as Mike shares Jonah Platt's response to the notion that the producer dad should not go, quote unquote, scold a young actress. The floor is yours.
And I quote, you really want to do this? Yeah, my dad, the producer of enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability, and her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism, he concludes, is not something to be coddled or encouraged.
Thank you,
wow.
Jonah Platt. Wow.
That's how it's done. That's how you do it. Whoa.
Literally 60 seconds. This is a total fail. I'm going to try it. The Mike Gallagher lightning round. You ready? It almost has to be yes or no. Should Jasmine Crockett be censured?
Maybe. Maybe.
Will never work. We'll never be able to do
no. I can't do it. Keep going.
No. That's. I tell you what, honestly, because I know.
I don't know. I mean, she's repulsive.
There's an obvious argument for yes, because she deserves it, but in a weird way, it almost aggrandizes her. She'd wear it like a badge of honor. I don't know.
There's a part of me that just wants her to keep doing it because it ruins their brand.
Censure will only energize her further, which is why
I'm
going to come down yes on the censure. I think you helped me with this, with Al Green shaking his big old cane at Trump. Of course, he deserved to be censured. He wore it like a badge of honor. Well, that was different. Okay, I mean, of course, it's different.
Well, that he disrupted a proceeding. Yeah. She's just an obnoxious, nasty lady. I mean, making fun of a guy with a disability. Are you kidding? But do you get censured for that? No. But disrupting an official proceeding, of course you should.
That was more. So look at there you go. So it was no lightning round. We can never do the lightning round.
Clarity.
It takes time.
Why are you dressed up today? Why are you all dressed up?
I'm going upstairs and doing the Stacey Washington show.
Good. That's Stacey on the right, Salem News Channel.
Slumming in here like I usually do.
I know. You got the word. You got the costume on. You got the outfit.
Fetterman and talk radio.
You and me both. We'll break a leg with Stacey. Love you. See you tomorrow.
Mike Gallagher there for us at 10 when we're done on 660 AM. The Answer.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.